Hello and welcome. My name is Ayana Lahi, and I'm so very happy that you are here with all of us in this episode of Light Mastery Academy. We are diving into ego parenting versus truth parenting. First of all, I'd love to further welcome you, and I'm choosing this topic to be able to support those of you who have been parented and are parenting, to better understand our human divine matrix that creates really great parenting. And parenting is a skill that, yes, it's developed through being a parent, but it's also developed through opening up to what we need to give to ourselves so that we can self-parent and become the kind of parent that we really need. And our personality self, the way that our planets align with our blood, bones, and psyche, and the way that our soul is evolving in this lifetime for you, meaning what you're ready to open up into, to become aware of and to recognize, and to be able to integrate your spiritual energy, your spiritual essence, the source of who you are with your life, all those challenges, the maze that we walk through and that we live in, and the pressures that come onto us, can raise our blood pressure, it can increase our anxiety and our stresses. And so how we show up in a truth level, and I'll define truth here, the truth level of parenting, the way that you would show up for your child, for a friend's child, for anyone who's developing, which really includes all of us. We're all growing, we're all evolving. How you can show up for your own inner self that had to go through being ABR'd, abandoned, betrayed, and rejected. How do you show up for the part of you that went through a heartbreak? That's a level of self-parenting. It's where you enter into a state of love and a state of opening. You are receiving yourself to start. So to quickly explain ego, and I do a lot of teaching and practices and awakening perspectives on the ego operating system and the true self operating system in the Spirit Gateways Institute teachings and programs. And I love the topic because we all lose ourselves in our ego operating system. Our ego self is created out of survival necessity and the survival need to exist, to fulfill what life is throwing at us in the moment. And so our ego can develop really early on in infancy. And the ego is a part of the psyche. It is a survival part, it's biological, and it can separate from everything except itself. The ego is the part of the self that is only concerned with its survival and what's good for you, meaning the you that needed someone, something to step up and help you out. Because when we're little kids and there's expectations put upon us that we can't fulfill, if we're not loved through it, meaning love being the teacher, love being understanding, love being think of all of nature, all of the qualities of nature, the way the wind feels. Right now the wind feels very gentle. I know what it's like to bring courses to you while I'm standing in wind gusts that are literally almost knocking me off my feet or off a cliff. And love is like that. Love can be for oneself alone, or consciously embraced and awakened to as the teacher. So the ego parenting has to do with raising your child, talking to a younger person, one of your employees, a colleague, a friend, but you're coming from an ego parent, meaning there's a separation between you and the person. You are framing the reality, framing the moment that you are somehow separate from them. You are telling them how to do it, but you're detached. You're not connecting in with their feeling level. And so the feeling level is abandoned. The other person could feel left alone. They could feel betrayed because they're not really being supported to be who they are. We all go through that when we've been educated in whatever school or classroom situation where you might feel that the information was just put at you. You might have also been gifted, blessed with a teacher who is really explaining so that you can feel it, so that you can hold it, so that you can apply it, so that you can click into it. Ego parenting is all about the parent, a parent, needing to fulfill their own needs. They need the child. They need the other to make them feel better about themselves. So as a parent, raising a child, supporting a young person, from whether they're an infant to a toddler to a young child to a tween, teen, young adult, your heart has to be open, meaning your heart center. You're wanting to drop your head down into your heart center and know that beginner's mind is part of living. All of us are always learning something, and when we stop learning how to show up in a moment, it means we're shut off from our life and from life, what life can really give us, what life is here to bring us. So in ego parenting, if you have had a parent who wanted you to fulfill their unmet dreams, to be what they could not, to be better than them, to mirror them, to take on their emotions, to fulfill what they tried and only got so far, if they needed you to carry on the legacy of a family without really acknowledging you. Ego parenting is the separation from truth. Truth being the source, the center. Think of the center of the universe, the sun. The sun is the center point in this galaxy of planets, and everything spins around the sun. So ego parenting is a form of narcissism, but it doesn't have to go all the way into the narcissistic traits of not being willing to change. In ego parenting, you have been passed down certain ways of behaviors, of thinking that you are bringing into the moment now. That you have the ability to shift and change by questioning in yourself, what is this person, this child, this colleague, this person who's working with me? What is it that they need? And what is it that I need to receive in myself so that I'm not putting out to them to fulfill what I need to take responsibility for in myself, to be responsible is to learn the ability to respond to ourself. Inside of your being is the nervous system that is connected to light. The way that light moves through the cells. Light is in the center of all of the trillions of cells that are in your body, and they are connected in through your spine in these PowerPoint centers in your body that you hear me teach about and share how to connect into through the Spirit Gateways 21st Century Liberation Roadmap. That's the core teaching of the Spirit Gateways Institute programs. And when you join and enter, you subscribe for free. You're part of the evolutionary empowerment global village, where you have the ability to learn really the incredible information and practices and experiences to really connect into you, so that you're living in that source, so that you are living in the center of your true power and love. So when you have an ego parent, know that you can begin to open into that truth self in you, the one who is very feeling and very intuitive, and also might feel different, a bit humiliated, possibly shamed at times. You might feel like an oddball. You might feel like the one who's just really different. And know that if you judge yourself, you separate yourself even more. If you're accepting the way that you're feeling, and you give yourself the creative freedom, the creative voice to find expression, being truly connected, real, and honest with yourself, you can move through the effects of ego parenting, and ego parenting to yourself too, because you can be just as hard on yourself as an ego parent or an ego teacher, where you're having to shut down yourself, cut off from that aliveness, that genius inside of you. That divine spark, when allowed to open and be received in you, is the source of your genius self. The whole key to living in your genius self and be free of the ego parenting system is to focus on the light within you and grow that. So the opposite of ego parenting is truth parenting. It's the parent. Remember, I'm speaking about whether you are in friendship with a colleague, a co-worker, the people that you work with and work for you, the people that you serve. You want to completely connect into your source, the light that you are, and give yourself the opportunity to enter into the heart center, that light beam. Look for that light inside yourself, whether you're in the shower, you're cooking, you're sitting, you're taking a quiet moment, you're at your desk. You close your eyes and you bring up where in your body you feel the light, and you focus into it. You allow that to open. Truth parenting is how you treat yourself when you're opening to allow your reality of truth, meaning core source, not ego truth, what the ego thinks is true. This is your experience of going, wow, I just see it a different way. You trust that different way. When you're connected in your body, you're connected, and I'm pointing to my pubic bone. I'm connecting to my crown. In the Spirit Gateways experience, you move from your own ego operating system into your true self operating system. It's the refined, defined, revealed, unlocked, real you inside of the different veils and the walls and the barriers that we create. So truth parenting is giving the space to the other person, your child, your adult child, your friend, your colleague, family member. You are opening yourself to the true you, and you are showing up in connection with the way that the source of life is moving in you and through you. That source of life is a feeling. It's an energy. It's a spiritual awakening. It's where you recognize that you are more than the thoughts in your head. And so truth parenting is providing the opportunity for someone to find their own answers and to not impose your opinion or judgment or criticism. You are giving space instead of creating constriction and contraction. You are aware of not imposing, projecting, defending your way on the situation. You can trust that bolt of truth that comes from deep within inside of yourself. This is not a belief system. It's not a dogma. You have access to all of you, and you can move in your truth. Truth is movable. It's not a solidified, solid, cold, unfeeling, uncompassionate experience. That's not truth. That's dogma. God itself is a spark of light, and in that spark of light, within inside of you, you have access to that love, because light is love. And love in its highest form is light, when it is a healthy expression of supporting oneself and another to touch that light within themselves and to create decisions, follow through and actions that fulfill getting a job done, but being done and accomplished through a whole way, not a limited lens, not just a contraction that supports the ego, which needs things in tight little boxes. Because the ego operating system, ego parenting, is not very big. It needs to put itself in an authority, in a separate state, a notch above, and that is no longer needed in our evolutionary process, because we are all here together. We are, wherever we are, we're in different cultures, different social backgrounds, economic backgrounds, but those are just ego identifications, talking about the soul experience of awakening. And during this precious time in history that is going through a lot of bumps and a lot of ditches that humanity could fall into, we need to stay in our true self, that self that is always open to make the shift into surrendering and letting go of its own perspective, of its own ego operating system, and being willing and open to finding the truth and not letting that ego operating parenting that we're seeing everywhere in our culture to infiltrate our precious hearts. Truth parenting is speaking from the heart. The heart is connected to the earth. The earth is filled in wisdom. The heart is connected to the source, the wide expansion of what is called heaven, but it's really the masculine, pure light of source flowing into you. The words can get us all tangled up. I want us to go beyond the words and know that your truth experience, which means busting through your own boxes and limitations, is what's really here for you, so that you can be in a state of alignment with yourself, creating amazing communications and opportunities for yourself and others to go through those barriers that we all put on ourselves out of fear, and come through those fears in the moment and choosing the truth, that love, that light within our hearts. Thank you so very much for joining us, holding you in deep love. Until next time, thank you.